Hi there, welcome back. Today we'll talk about how to handle change in your company. Change is inevitable, but how can we handle it effectively? Making changes in a company is different than creating change at a personal level. However, since a company consists of people, we have to consider how change happens on an individual level. When we make a change in a company, we have to think not only about the processes that will take us from point A to point B, but also about how we'll engage the company's members in this change. Some people embrace changes and are excited about them, while others resist and try to prevent them. Why some people resist and try to prevent changes? Well, there are different reasons. Some of them may avoid uncomfortable situations because we tend to feel comfortable with familiar things, things that we are used to. They may value consistency or stability more than variety. They avoid to deal with uncertainty because when a change is made, they don't know for sure what the outcomes will be, and they may lack trust in their abilities to change. At an organizational level, other reasons could be added. So some people may don't understand the reasons for the change. They may not trust that the reasons presented to them are the true ones. They may don't think that the change is necessary. They may have a different perspective on the situation. They may fear that they will lose something in this process, such as their power, their status, their position, or they may think that the change is not possible. Have you experienced these kinds of situation with your employees? How did you handle them? How the members of a company react to changes also depends on its culture. If they are used to continually improve the internal processes, they are used with questioning their work methods and searching for better ways. This is the first step that makes them open to change. So, changes will be much easier in companies that encourage progress and employees' contribution to internal processes. And it will be more challenging in those companies where most employees are seen just as executants of the internal processes. It has to be a balance between the changes that a company introduces at one moment and the traditional methods or patterns it has. Too many changes simultaneously could be overwhelming for the company's members and can cause more stress, frustration, and resistance. A change is not entirely produced until it becomes the new norm, the new pattern. This means that the employees become used with the change and they don't think about going back to old ways of doing things. That's why a change requires time and patience. In the transition process, they may still approach things in the old ways or work in the old ways. Changes may be determined by pressures from internal factors like low performances, conflicts, high turnover rate, employee feedback, and external factors such as evolution of digitalization, economic recessions, or global crisis. Most often, changes are caused by these two kinds of pressures. It must be a critical situation, or the situation must be perceived as no longer satisfactory for the change to take place. It's like on an individual level. We don't change a behavior until the consequences are too painful. We don't take care of our health until we confront an illness or an injury. A healthier way to make changes is to prevent the issues that cause changes when it's possible. Sometimes some problems are led to escalate and produce bigger problems before taking action to change them. Let's see some examples of changes produced by internal factors. This could be changes produced as a result of employees' feedback. The work schedule can be modified due to many requests in this sense. Some internal processes can be changed or improved due to employees' proposals. Changes may be caused by changes in the company structure. When a company gets bigger, its tools and technologies may become inefficient or time consuming. So the company may have to adopt new tools and technologies. What work for a small number of employees will not work for a larger team. Another case, a difficult internal financial situation can lead to downsizing and reorganizing the work of those who stay in the company. Or a company acquisition can lead to massive transformations if it merges with a new culture and processes, or just has a new management team with a different vision and leading styles. Let's see now some example of changes produced by external factors. So external factors like COVID, economic recession, technological changes can also cause major disruptions in how a company functions. Sometimes these changes are imposed, like in the COVID case, when the companies were asked to make changes in how the employees interact with each other. Other times, like in the case of technology digital evolution, change is not imposed, but failing to keep up with the external environment can create disadvantages in a competitive market. For example, many companies are now integrating new AI tools like ChatGPT in their businesses to enhance their work. Example of companies such as Blockbuster, which failed to transition to a digital model, or Polaroid, which didn't want to adopt the digital camera, show us how important it is to be aware of the opportunities that arise and the threats that this can bring with them. These kinds of changes that are produced by external factors are harder to anticipate and can be more stressful than those produced by internal factors. Who could expect COVID, right? They require more flexibility and the capacity to respond faster than in the case of changes that are caused by internal factors. As mentioned earlier, we need a process to go from point A to point B. We have to make a plan with the steps that will take us to the point B. The success of the change depends on this process as much as on the company's members' engagement. If the plan is not good, it doesn't matter how engaged the employees are. In fact, their engagement is tested by lack of results, by failures. One reason is that we don't like to associate ourselves with failures, and another is that our trust in our capacity to succeed decreases when we don't see progress. So take time to create the change process carefully. Let's see some steps that can help you to create this change process. So 1. Clarify the reasons for which the change is wanted in the company. What do you want to achieve? What are the benefits of change? And what will happen if this doesn't take place? 2. Create a plan to make the change. Settle the steps that will be taken to reach point B. 3. Evaluate the plan. You can make a SWOT analysis. Analyze the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and possible threats of the plan. Change the parts that are not so good or present threats, or find solutions to deal with this if the worst scenarios will happen. So manage the risk involved. 4. Analyze the action plan's impact on other internal processes or the company's culture. Make adjustments where it's necessary so the change is aligned with the internal processes and the company's culture. 5. Implement the plan and adapt it on the way if necessary. Overcome the obstacles that occur that weren't anticipated, and you will encounter obstacles for sure. 6. Evaluate the results. To which degree did you reach your objective? What can you do to improve the results? And 7. Establish how you'll maintain the change. As I said earlier, a change is not entirely completed until it becomes a pattern. When you think about the change process, think about the people involved or impacted by the change. Identify what members of your company will be directly or indirectly impacted by the change. Establish what members will be involved in the change process. Will some of them participate in the planning phase? Who will participate in this phase, or who will participate in the implementation phase? Who will assess the results? Just like in a project, when you have to decide who will be in the project and what their roles will be, also how much autonomy the members of the project have. Then establish how you'll communicate the change to those impacted directly and indirectly. Establish how you'll manage their questions and concerns, how you'll overcome their possible resistance or complaints, and think how you'll engage them in the change so they will support it. So let me give you some advice about this. Communicate openly with your employees about the reasons for the change. As I said earlier, one of the reasons for which the employees resist change is that they don't understand the reasons for the change. Then communicate what their benefits are if the change is made. Communicate what the losses for the company and for them are if the change is not done. This is related to explaining the reasons for the change. Then involve them in the creation of the action plan. If their ideas are there, they will sustain them and engage. You will not have to convince them or sell your plan, they are already on board. Encourage them to give feedback, to ask questions, and address their concerns. Answer all of this in detail and honestly. If they don't have the information they need, they may fill up the gap with their assumptions, with presumptions, or incorrect data. Rumors can arise in these kinds of situations when people don't know for sure what is happening. This will just create confusion and will not help with the change process. So communication is necessary because probably you will not involve all your company's members in this in the action plans, but everyone in the company has to know what's happening if they are impacted by the change, directly or indirectly. Then communicate the progress that is made and the wins. This is important because, as I mentioned before, their engagement is affected by this. If they see that the plan works, they will have more confidence that it will be successful, and they will engage more, they will support the change, and they will have better attitudes. And then provide training or learning opportunities if the change involves the use of new skills, competencies from them, as in the case of new tools, programs, tasks, and responsibilities, or new internal processes. As I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons for which they resist change is that they don't trust that they can handle it. They don't think that they have the necessary skills to make the change. So providing them with training will eliminate their worries about this aspect. This is all for today. I hope you find this helpful for you. If you want to learn more about organizational change, I recommend you to check out the change model developed by Kurt Lewin. It's a very interesting one. And the McKinsey 7S model, which is another organizational change model. Let's do a short summary. So we discuss about why change is different in a company than at a personal level. Then we discuss about the reasons for which people don't like changes. We discuss about how does the company's culture influences the employees' attitudes toward change. We discuss about the most common situation in which change happens due to internal factors and external factors. We discuss about the steps that have to be taken in the change process, and we discuss about how employees can be involved in the change process. Let me know what are your thoughts about change management, and if you have questions about this topic or you need help with an internal situation from your company, just send me a message on my email. You have my email address in the description of this episode. Subscribe if you liked this episode, and if you need help with your employees, check out my online program named How to Motivate Your Employees So They Care for Your Business and Help You Grow It. This is a step-by-step guide that helps you how to have one-to-one structured discussions with your employees to find out how they perceive 7 aspects of their jobs. Among these are their tasks and responsibilities, their benefits, the work relationships, the professional development opportunities. Within the program, you'll find recorded sessions, worksheets, templates, guidelines, and direct support from me through one-to-one coaching calls. One of the benefits of the program is that you can do it periodically, for example, once a year, to update the information that you already have and the motivation strategies within your company. Increasing your employees' motivation will positively affect their performance, their attitudes and relationships, the work environment, and their willingness to stay in the company. The time you'll spend taking care of your employees' motivation will pay off through the results you'll create for your business and for them too. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.